Hey, what's going on, everyone? Thank you for tuning in and checking out my latest video. Now, this video is going to be talking about the MMA fight this weekend in the UFC between Donald Cerrone and Eddie Alvarez. Now, I potentially think this fight will be the best fight on this card, which is saying a lot because you have matchups between Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier. You got Demetrius Johnson on this card. You also have James Krause on this card. So, I mean, a lot of excellent matchups on this card. It's a very stacked UFC card and one you don't want to miss. Now, let me first start off with Eddie Alvarez, who will be making his UFC debut in this fight. Very tough opponent in his first fight, that's for sure. When I watch Eddie Alvarez fight, I see a guy who has one-punch knockout power. I like his boxing skill. I like how he works the body. When you watch some of his fights, he has some vicious body blows. He's a guy who's one of the most exciting fighters in the sport, and he's been a top lightweight for a number of years, and he just has a ton of heart in his fight. Whenever you watch him fight, this guy will never quit in a fight, and he'll put on a show every time for the fans. And some notable opponents that he's fought in his career, his fights with Michael Chandler, which are classics, Patricky Pitbull in Bellator, Pat Curran. He's been there, Shinya Aoki, Josh Neer. These are just some guys that some MMA fans will know that Eddie Alvarez has been in there with. So I'm very excited for him to make his debut. It's been a long time coming. And I think everyone will really enjoy Eddie Alvarez if you've never seen him fight before. Now, when I look at Donald Cerrone, I see a guy who's been in there with some of the best fighters in the UFC. Excellent kickboxer. I really like his leg kicks and high kicks. Also, he has a solid ground game as well, good stamina, and a good chin. So Donald Cerrone, to me, is a very well-rounded fighter. Now, when I look at this fight, I'm looking for advantages in this matchup. I would have to say that Eddie Alvarez possesses the more punching power, in my opinion. I also think that Eddie Alvarez has a better boxing skill of the two. But that's it for me on advantages for Eddie Alvarez. I think that Donald Cerrone is a more diverse striker who can use his kicks, his knees, elbows, etc. So he brings more striking arsenal to the table for this fight. I also think that Donald Cerrone has better footwork. And I think Cerrone for sure has a better ground game in my opinion. So those are just some of the advantages I give Cerrone in this fight. He has the more unpredictable attack as well. So I think that Donald Cerrone will win this fight by decision. I think it's going to be a classic fight, though, an all-out war if everything goes as planned and these two both end up striking throughout the fight. But you never know. I mean, Alvarez is a game opponent. I'm pulling for him. He's a guy who trains with Frankie Edgar, so he's getting some world-class training in. So is Donald Cerrone, of course, with Greg Jackson and company. So both of these guys are well-rounded fighters. And I think both of them are going to become fan favorites if they're not already. Well, Cerrone I know is, but I think Eddie Alvarez definitely will be after this fight and show why he is such a good lightweight and why he's ranked in the top 10 by many. And don't discredit him, guys, if he loses a fight because, like I said, Donald Cerrone is a world-class fighter, and I think he just holds a little bit more tools than Eddie Alvarez. We're going to have to wait and see, and I hope everybody enjoys the card. Please subscribe if you guys already haven't. I appreciate that very much. And thank you guys for listening to me and tuning into the video.